What up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy, MacDaGiantsFan, coming back at y'all with episode 8 of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. And I'm just gonna get right into things this week, man. I ain't got a whole lot of extra to say, man. I said a whole lot last week and just don't really got a whole lot more to say right now. Extra. I'm gonna just get right into things. Start off with the first game, and that's gonna be Thursday night football from a week ago, and that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Philadelphia. Man, took on them Eagles. Man, and we ended up looking like a more competitive game than it actually was. Was the final? If you let the final score in to tell you the story. But this game wasn't as competitive as that final score really indicates, man. Ended up being 28-22 Bucks, but Eagles got back in it late. A couple little scores, man, and they made a game of it. But at the same time, it wasn't really that competitive throughout most part. Bucks pretty much dominated this game. Jalen Hurts, man, he looked like like I said, I've been on the record all season saying this kid has been a lot better than I gave him credit for in the off season. You know what I mean? But at the same time, right now, he's still got a lot to prove in the ways of being a franchise quarterback, man. I know people give my guy Daniel Jones a hard time, deservedly so. For the most part, he hasn't proved a whole lot yet either. But Jalen Hurts, man, this guy's got a long way to go in the realms of being a franchise guy, man. From what I see, his numbers on the night, man, was a bulimic 12 for 26, 115 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And he did get a couple scores on the ground with his legs, and that's been what's making him respectable as a quarterback, to be quite frank, is his legs, man, because his arm talent is looking to be what most people thought it was, man. It's not there, man. He doesn't have quite the arm. I'm not saying he can't develop it, but he doesn't have the arm talent, man. He's not proven to have it. From what I've seen of this kid most of the season, if his wide receiver ain't running downfield wide open, he's pretty much going to miss him, man, most of the time, man. He's going to miss him most of the time. So he misses on his deep ball a lot, man. He throws a lot of bad balls down the field, man. The interception he threw was an absolute horrible pass, trying to get it downfield. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Quez Watkins or something, who's definitely been his big deep threat guy all season. But like I said, unless them guys are streaking down the field wide open, he's pretty much going. He's going to miss them most of the time, more likely than not, anyway. And like I said, he's been doing some special things with his legs. He did get in the end zone twice, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. But on the night, but the problem I have with that is, it's one thing when you don't have any other threat in that when it comes in that aspect of the game, but the Eagles legitimately have, and I will keep saying this, and I've been saying it for the last few weeks, one of the absolute best running backs in the NFL. Miles Sanders is a legit top guy, and they're just not using him properly. I just don't understand what the problem is. 9 carries, 56 yards. That's not good enough. Think about this. Do the math. 9 carries, 56 yards. That's a 6-yard average per carry. Get that man the ball 9 more times. He's not made of glass. You know what I mean? He has a little bit of an injury history, but he's not made of glass, man. You can go ahead and let this man tote that rock. That's what he gets paid to do, and he does it very well when he gets the opportunities to. And not for nothing, Kenneth Gainwell is also, pretty solid in that department too. You got like a good 1-2 punch right there. And I just don't get it. I don't get what the coaching staff is doing. I don't understand why Jalen Hurts always has the most carries every week running the football. That's just absolutely ridiculous, man. If you want this kid to become your franchise guy, you got to use the weapons around him properly as well. And with all that being said, there's obviously no receivers with his bulimic passing numbers. There's no receiver. There was no standout receivers in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then once again, defensively, man, Tom Brady was shredding his defense up. Leonard Fournette was running all through it. And Antonio Brown looked like Antonio Brown of old back in Pittsburgh, man. From his Pittsburgh days. I mean, he had probably his best game in a couple of years. So with me, my biggest thing is the defense is like they don't quit, they don't give up. They are a scrappy defense, but in it mostly, I mean, they lack linebacker talent for sure. And on the back end, they're not exactly. I wouldn't call them very stout on the back end. They're still pretty solid up front. Fletcher Cox is still an absolute stud, but I'm just not defense. I'm also not. They do need some work with this defense because when they go against good teams with good offenses this season, they've proven to not be able to stack up. I mean, Kansas City, Dallas, Tampa Bay now, it just don't stack up to good offense. Defense doesn't stack up to good offenses, and their coaching is just a question mark to me. Like I said, I just don't understand how you have a talent like Miles Sanders in your backfield and don't use them. I just don't really get that. But it's okay, you know what I mean? That's the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what they want to do. They can go for what they know, man. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move it along, man. Since obviously I don't have nobody in my chat right now, no questions coming through for me. So I'm moving along to the next game, which is going to be the Chiefs visiting the Washington football team. And this is a team with all kinds of problems, man. I wouldn't necessarily say they got the problems that the New York Giants have, but they got all kinds of problems as well, man. It's been a team, a very disappointing football team this season as well. Had high expectations. Many thought and considered this team to be the very best team in this division. That obviously is not the case. The Dallas Cowboys have totally shut that down, put all those questions to rest. But this team right here, the Washington football team, they took an L on Sunday, and probably not a lot of people expected them to win this football game against the Kansas City Chiefs. But people thought I thought it would have been a little bit more competitive because the Kansas City Chiefs, man, their defense is absolutely atrocious. And I thought Washington, if anything, was going to be able to at least put up points on this defense. And that was just the furthest thing from the truth. Taylor Heinicke looks like a quarterback that's looking like he is a backup quarterback, and he is totally regressing week in and week out now, man. Because most people probably thought he was going to go out there, and have a big day against his Kansas City Chiefs defense. He totally did not, man. It was totally shut down from the door, man. I mean, he went 24-39, 189 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. That's clearly not going to get it done against pretty much anybody, let alone the Kansas City Chiefs. You need a lot more offense than that. And then the 94 yards rushing, once again, against the Kansas City Chiefs, not going to get it done. You need way more ball control than that. Keep that offense off the field because clearly that's the strength of the Chiefs team. They want to be on offense most of the game if they can be because they know their defense can't stop anything, even though they stop the football team this week. The defense came around, had a few sacks, a couple interceptions. And, I mean, one thing I can say positive for the defense is Chase Young recorded another sack. That's back-to-back weeks. Maybe he's coming alive. Maybe he's going to start to come alive a little bit, start making some noise. What's going on, Joe? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. But maybe what's going on, Slay? But maybe this Washington defense could start maybe developing something. I mean, the Chiefs' offense is a juggernaut. So for what it's worth, I mean, they still got to Mahomes a few times, forced a couple more turnovers, which is a weird thing about Patrick Mahomes this season, man. He is turning the ball over at a very high rate this season. For what it's worth, he's also still getting that ball in the end zone as well. So that's probably why nobody's talking about it too much because he's turning the ball over at a high rate, but he's still also putting points on the board, man. And but Washington just could not capitalize on this soft-ass defense, man. The Chiefs rolling out there, and it was pretty disappointing because I thought it was going to be a much more competitive game. Chiefs actually wiped the floor with them, man. And another thing, and one last thing I gotta say about the Washington football team, man, they absolutely got to find ways. They got to find ways to get the ball into Terry McLaurin's hands. In this game, man, I'm mad because I played Terry McLaurin, and I have him on a few of my fantasy teams, and I played him at every team that I got him on, man, because I just figured he was going to go out there and light this Chiefs defense up. And I mean, with better quarterback play, he probably could have. But that's the problem. He needs better quarterback play. He was targeted about 10 times or so in this game, and he only caught like about 4 passes. That's just scary Terry, man. You got to be able to find a way to get the ball to him, man. He is your best playmaker on offense. You got to get the ball in that man's hands. So I don't know. On a positive note for Washington, though, like I said, Chase Young might be starting to wake up a little bit as he recorded another sack in as many weeks, another second sack in as many weeks. So got off to a slow start, but maybe he will be starting to pick things up for this defense, and that will also make a difference on this defense if he can wake up and the rest of that D-line can wake up and they start doing what they were expected to be doing. Like I said, that was a tough test against Kansas City. That offense is nothing nice, so I'm not going to hold too much against them there from giving up 31 points to Kansas City. What I am holding against them is the fact that they were only able to put up 13 points against that defense. That's not good enough. That's not acceptable. But I'm going to move on to the next game, man. I'm sorry, I'm kind of cruising through these kind of fast. Been a little under the weather the last couple of days, and I'm just kind of, my throat is still a little scratchy. But I'm going to just try to power through most of this. Sniffling a little bit. But the next game, man, we're going to go to was maybe arguably game of the week. Yeah, go ahead somewhere, Slay, with all that. I acknowledge that, bro. I definitely been acknowledging that on my streams all season. You ain't got to remind. I don't need a reminder from you, bro. I don't need a reminder from you. I understand the state of the New York Giants right now. I will be getting to them in a few minutes, and I will be tearing them another new asshole like I've been doing all season long. All right? Just stand by for that, all right? You know what I mean? It's all good, though, bro. Your boys ain't looking too hot either, bro. But, you know what I mean? CeeDee Lamb is a grown-ass man. And I'm about to get on that right now in a few minutes, man. Because I appreciate that, though. So, I'm just messing with you too, bro. I appreciate you, man. A lot of respect for you, man. Doing your thing over there, representing them Eagles, man. Doing your thing, man. So I appreciate that, man. But yeah, this was maybe game of the week, man. This game had one of the craziest endings you will ever see, man. You can ever see in the game, man. Because the way this game ended, went into overtime. This was a fun game. I ain't even gonna lie, even though it was the Cowboys and the Patriots, two teams I absolutely cannot stand. It was still a fun game to watch. Dak Prescott, man. Forget about comeback player of the year. Dak Prescott's making a strong MVP case right now. Let's put that all the way into perspective. Forget about everybody talking about comeback player of the year. Like I said, he is making a very valid and strong MVP case, man. As he went out there, 36 for 51, 445 yards, 3 more touchdowns, and just 1 interception, man. On the ground, like I said, once again, the Cowboys got that 1-2 punch with Pollard, and Zeke got the ground game going, 122 yards on the ground. I mean, most of that was Zeke and Pollard. Dak chipped in like 10 yards, and CeeDee Lamb had like an end around or something. He's got a couple of yards too, but most of that was Zeke and Pollard on the ground. Most of that 122. And then speaking of CeeDee Lamb, man, like Slay said earlier, man, CeeDee Lamb is a grown-ass man. Pretty much taking over that number 1 slot, I feel like, in Dallas as their top guy. Amari Cooper is still very highly touted, but CeeDee Lamb, I believe, is taking over that top spot now, man. CeeDee Lamb is putting up crazy numbers, man. 9 catches, 149 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day against a tough and stingy New England defense, man. And then, speaking of defense, this Cowboy defense remains opportunistic as hell, man. And Trayvon Diggs, the most opportunistic of them all. Once again, this man got another interception, which was another pick six this week. That's 7 interceptions on the season. 2 of those have been pick sixes. Interception in every single game this season. That is unprecedented. I don't know any player that's come out and started off a season 6 straight games with at least 1 interception. And clearly he had 7 on the season. So that means one game he had two interceptions. And one, I can't remember which game that was. But this kid is just, he's once also, like I just said about Dak making a case for MVP, this kid is making a strong case for Defensive Player of the Year. 7 interceptions on the season already, and it's only been 6 games, not even at the halfway point of the season. Come on, man. Give me a break with this kid, man. And then, and another thing I'm going to have to come out and say, man, I hate even having to say this type of stuff. I hate having to admit these things. Because the way I feel about the Cowboys, man, it grinds my gears. I have to say this, but they're not just the best team in the NFC East right now. They're not only just that, they're making the case as the best, as arguably the best team in the damn conference. I know, I get it. The Arizona Cardinals are undefeated, and you got some other tough teams, the Rams, and that whole division right there is tough. Out NFC West, you know what I mean? Green Bay, God, can't forget about those guys up there. But you know what, man? Dallas go out there and they can play with anybody, man. With the way their offense is loaded, the way their defense makes plays, they can play with anybody, man. I feel like they're not, like I said, they're 100% the best team in the NFC East. That's not even close. It's not even another team in this division right now that's even remotely on the Cowboys level whatsoever. So they're definitely running away with this division, right, as far as things go right now, unless everybody gets hurt and things just fall apart for this team. There's just no other team in this division that's going to keep up with them. But they're making a strong case for being the absolute best team in the conference, man. That's just real, whether anybody like it or not. That's facts. Absolute facts. But in overtime, they did pull out the win overtime, 35-29 over the Patriots, man. and what was just a phenomenal game, a phenomenal ending, man, to this game. Both teams went back and forth in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, man. And then it went into overtime, and then the Cowboys just put them away. Won the coin toss, put them away. That's what good teams do. But I'm going to move on to the shit show in MetLife. And we all know what that was. That would be the Rams coming to visit the New York Football Giants. And this is getting hard for me every week to have to keep relaying this sad-ass news week in and week out, man. But we suck. There ain't no other way to put it. Ain't no other way to put it, man. Daniel Jones went out. We lost. Rams come to town, honoring the 2011 championship team at halftime. You know, it's like I'm just starting to wonder: is there anything that can fire this football team up? Because clearly the MetLife crowd don't fire this team up. Clearly honoring legends doesn't fire this team up. Nothing seems to fire this team up. I don't get it. I've just never seen anything like it before. I don't understand why this team never seems fully ready, fully prepared to play a football game. Daniel Jones went out there and he had, to be quite frank, the worst game of he's had so far this season. A few circumstances, but some of this was on him too, man. He doesn't get a free pass from playing poorly, no matter what was going on. A lot of injuries around him. Darius Toney got hurt on the very first possession of the game. So, like, that wasn't good. I mean, that clearly hurt Daniel Jones right from the door. Andrew Thomas got hurt pretty early in this game. Both of those guys will be apparently. Andrew Thomas has been put on injury reserve, and Darius Toney is like he's going to miss a couple of weeks as well. So that's definitely not going to help the offense out one bit. Status of Galladay and Saquon Barkley and a couple other guys are still unknown for the week. We'll have to find. We still don't know exactly what's going on with them. They still haven't been practicing, so not looking like still looking like they'll probably be out again against Carolina on Sunday. I just don't know. Daniel Jones had a very rough day at the office, though, man. He went back and reverted back to the old Daniel Jones of old that people love to talk about, because the new Daniel Jones this season people weren't talking too much about. This past week, a lot of people had a lot to say about Daniel Jones again all of a sudden. Go figure, right? I feel like people were waiting for him to have a bad game again because they don't like talking about this kid in a positive light. So they wanted to wait for them to be able to talk about him in a negative light again. And he went 29 for 51, 242 yards, 3 interceptions, and 1 fumble loss. And he also had another fumble that was recovered by the Giants. So he actually fumbled the ball twice in this game. I'm not putting the fumbles on him. He got absolutely cremated on both of those plays. Blindside hits. Offensive tackle just did not block at all on those plays, either one of those plays. One was Nate Solder, one was Matt Pert. They were turnstiles, both plays. Any quarterback would have probably fumbled it in the same situation. However, his interceptions were bad. His interceptions are still on him. They were bad throws, man, pretty much. So those are on him. And what's the shameful part about it is that coming into this game, Daniel Jones had only had, I believe, 3 turnovers the whole damn season coming into this game. And there's the ball over 4 times in this game. So it's pretty painful to watch, man. And then all his weapons were down. I mean, he got Sterling Shepard back, but like I say, he lost Kadarius Toney early in this game. So it was just rough going for him, man. He was behind the 8 ball from the door. And then the rushing attack was non-existent. 60 yards on the ground ain't going to get it done against anybody, no matter who the hell you're playing against. And against this Rams team, 60 yards on the ground is just not between Booker, Elijah Penny, and Daniel Jones collectively. Clearly, Daniel Jones is being held back from running the ball too much in this game. Clearly, somebody on the coaching staff or whatever got in his head and probably told him to take it easy and pull back and don't run the ball too much and do what comes natural to him, because that's what's been making him a little bit better this season, is doing that, using his athleticism and making plays with his legs when they're there to make. He didn't do that in this game very much at all. So I'm kind of questioning that, because if a guy's going to play, what's going on, Nate? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by, bro. If a guy's going to do that, man, if you got him on the field playing, you got to let him play to his full potential. You know what I mean? So I'm still scratching my head at that. And then also, I'm going to say this. I mentioned this on my preview show last week about Gary Brightwell, man. What did we draft this kid for? What did we get this kid a roster spot for? We're not using him at all. Saquon Barkley was out, so he wasn't getting no touches regardless. Booker was ineffective. Penny was ineffective. And Jones wasn't running the football. So why are we not turning around and handing the ball off to Brightwell, man? Giving him a couple of opportunities and see what he can do. You never know what you got in somebody until you give him a chance. You never know. Like I said, it might have been a late round draft pick we used on this kid, but it was a draft pick nonetheless. And on top of that, he got a roster spot. So how does he make the team if we're not going to use him? And I agree 100% with that, Nate. This team has no heart whatsoever, man. No heart whatsoever, bro. It is despicable, man, most of the time, man. I get annoyed watching this team because they play with no heart at all, man. Well, like I said, we did get Shepard back in the lineup, but Shepard did get 10 catches, 76 yards, man. Like to see a little more like to see a little bit more yardage, but at the same time, there's still an effective day, man. Like I said, 10 catches on a day still proves to be a pretty reliable receiver. And once again, I know it's sound like a broken record, but I get tired talking about it, but this defense it's an embarrassment, man. Absolute embarrassment. You got players now complaining, Leonard Williams complaining, boo-hooing about being upset about the fans booing him. Leonard Williams, what the hell do you expect to happen? Y'all putting a crap product on the field. People paying good damn money to put their asses in them seats, to park in the parking lot, to go out and see this New York Football Giant team and y'all look like a damn like an embarrassment out there. Of course, people is gonna boo. If I was in that stadium, I'd be booing loud as shit too. What is wrong? You don't get the right to complain about that with your multi-million-dollar paycheck, bro. You don't get the right to complain about fans booing when y'all ain't getting the damn job done. I know you had a pretty solid game as an individual, Leonard Williams, but it's a team sport. And this team has been horrible all season long. And you will continue to get booed until you prove you don't deserve to be booed. It's absolutely a joke. Man, the fuck up. Sorry about that. I don't like to use that. I'm trying to watch my language a little bit more. I'm trying to work on that, but sometimes they bring it out of me a little bit sometimes. I lose control a little bit. And yeah, you're right. I'm agreeing. The Kenny Golladay signing also is not paying dividends. I mean, as of right now, he's not on the field. He hasn't been on the field. He's missed obviously last week. Look like he might miss this week again. And he's been pretty much non-existent otherwise for most of the other games as well, other than that New Orleans game where he had a pretty big game. But yeah, that signing is looking pretty bad, man. And I mean, maybe we should have kept Odell, but honestly, my problem with Odell Beckham is also it's injuries, man. Since he's been in Cleveland, man, he's barely been on the field, man. He's been injured most of the time. He's more than he's been healthy in Cleveland, man. So he hasn't even given them a full season yet. So. And I feel like he only gave us one full season when he was here. To be quite honest, he was still very productive, but he can't stay healthy either, man. So I'm not even honestly sure how much help he would be on this team right now, Nate. But this whole damn team is a dumpster fire, man. Like I said, I've been a New York Giants fan too long for this. I've seen too many. I feel really bad for the younger guys like you, Nate. You know what I mean? Like you and like Logan and guys like y'all, man, because you guys, man, haven't really got to enjoy too many of the good years, man. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how far back y'all go. I'm not quite sure how old you guys are, but I know y'all pretty young guys, and I know I haven't been able to enjoy too many good years of New York Giant football. You know what I mean? Like at least like me and some of the guys like me and Joe, we can go back further. We were around for the glory years. You know what I mean? We were around we were around when the Giants were one of those franchises. We're always a top franchise. And for what it's worth, the Giants are still always going to remain a top franchise. But right now, we're just not playing like it at all in any way. This has been a 10-year shit show, for lack of a better words. But I mean, I agree, Nate. Yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about, Nate. I see you was talking about just the money in general. Okay, I feel yeah. I mean, it would have definitely made sense to just hold on to him in that regard, but I feel like he's not staying healthy, especially now. He's hurt so much. He's been hurt so much the last few years, man. I just don't know what kind of production he would be able to provide for this football team either. And I just don't feel like we would still be a pretty bad football team. Okay, yeah. See, yeah. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm glad. But I appreciate fans like you though, man, because you're still staying loyal, and you've only enjoyed one good year as a fan, unfortunately. Hopefully, this team will turn around in the next few years or so, man, and so you guys can enjoy some what real Giant football is like. Because right now, unfortunately, you haven't seen real Giant football. Because I'm assuming that one good year was the 2016 season, which, as far as I'm concerned, was a rent a year. We rented a good season that year. That's all that really was, man. But yeah, I don't know. This team is breaking my heart week in and week out, man. I'm just tired of having to come on these streams and keep talking about how great the Cowboys are and how pathetic we are. Because not for what's worth, even the Eagles try. Like even the Eagles put forth effort week in and week out. I'm not even seeing that kind of effort from us. I don't know what's going on with the New York Giants. I just know it has to get better, man. And because it's just too crazy, man. This is too historic of a franchise to be going down like the Cleveland Browns or the old Tampa Bay Bucks or the Jets, like teams, the Detroit Lions. Those are lousy franchises. I mean, Cleveland's turned it around, obviously, but those are historically lousy franchises. Whereas the New York Giants is historically great franchise, a proud franchise. I mean, Mara got to step the hell out the way, man. Like I said, he's the owner of the team. He's always going to be the owner because this is not some situation where he's just going to up and sell the team. This is a family business. It always has been. So he's not going to up and sell it, but he needs to take a step back, get a GM in there, and let them do let him work, man. No interference, no behind the scenes and then throwing guys under the bus because that's what's going on. I just know that it's just too. Like I've been saying it for the last couple weeks, the one constant in this 10-year dumpster fire that New York Giants have been is John Mara. He's the one constant. Dave Gettleman wasn't here for all of that. Joe Judge wasn't here for all of that. It's John Mara. He's the one constant in all of this. He's the guy that's been here the whole time. Right now, we should fire Dave Gettleman before the trade deadline because he could ruin everything. I see where you're coming from with that. But right about now, man, at the state of this team, who will take over that job for the rest of the season? And I just, it's kind of not the way New York Giants do things, man. Like, honestly, I know that 2017 season, we fired McAdoo and fired Jerry Reese mid-season, but that was Amara kind of covering his ass thing once again. That was Mara covering his behind thing. That backlash from benching Eli Manning to play Geno Smith was way more severe than Mara probably expected, man. So I think that was more him covering his own behind. So he went on ahead and made that move to fire McAdoo and Jerry Reese mid-season. It's not the way New York Giants usually conduct business, man. So I can't really see that happening. To be honest with you, though, they're going to at least Gettleman's going to get the rest of this season regardless, unless he does something really, really extra stupid. So I really don't foresee that happening. But you know what? I'm going to move on, man, because I'm starting to my throat's starting to get a little raw, so I got to move on and get into next week's action. And we'll start off with the Washington football team visiting the Green Bay Packers. And this Washington football team, man, is once again, they're almost kind of they're actually a bigger disappointment than I would say New York Giants are, because I think they had much higher expectations throughout the whole national media and everything. I mean, I feel like the overall consensus favorite to win this division. That's out the window completely. Not even sure if they're the second best team in the division, which I'd probably get that nod, honestly, to the Eagles right about now. But it doesn't matter because the Cowboys are so far superior to everybody else in this division. It doesn't matter anyway about who's the second best team. That's irrelevant in this division. There is not going to be a wild card team out of the NFC East. Only the division winner, and that looks like that's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to the playoffs for this division. And I just can't see them going to Green Bay and causing much and giving up much resistance either, man. Like, it's just like the same as the Kansas City game. Green Bay is going to score points. The offense is phenomenal. Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. Devontae Adams is phenomenal. Washington secondary has not proven to be able to stop anybody all season. And to be quite frank, they're not doing much in any other level of their defense either. Like I said, maybe might start coming around. Like I said, they got a few sacks against Mahomes, caused a few turnovers. I don't foresee that necessarily happening against Aaron Rodgers. He gets rid of the ball. He's really savvy when it comes in that department. He does not take a lot of unnecessary sacks. So I can't really see them making too much noise against Green Bay, especially up in Green Bay and Lambeau Field. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers in this one. And I feel like the Packers are going to pretty much probably do a little bit of similar to what the Green Bay Kansas City did to them. Maybe not quite the same, but I say Green Bay wins this one, man. 27-14. Yeah, 27-14, Green Bay, man. Taylor Heineke needs to prove that he's better than just a backup quarterback, because he really, the last few weeks, has been looking just like a backup quarterback and nothing more and nothing less, man. And if he don't get his act together, you're going to have people starting to cry for Fitzpatrick again. I'm not sure what the status of that guy is. Got hurt in week 1. But Heineke was playing so well the first few weeks, his first few starts, that people probably forgot about Fitzpatrick. But these last couple weeks, they're probably starting to remember him again, because Heineke has played really poorly, man, really poor football. I just can't see Washington going into Green Bay and getting a W here. So, like I said, 27-14 Green Bay is what I feel like the score is going to end up being in this one. Shit. I'm about to go ahead and move on to the next game. Sorry I'm powering through this so fast, everybody. But I just, like I said, I'm a little under the weather. And the show must go on, but it's a little tough to speak right now. My throat is really, really raw. And the next game is going to be the Eagles taking a trip out to Vegas against the Las Vegas Raider team. That a week ago, I picked them to lose to Denver because I thought they were maybe going to kind of have a little snowball effect. After all the Gruden backlash, wasn't sure how they were going to respond to that. But this team went out there and looked damn good on Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Like, it didn't even faze them at all, man. Yeah, they went out there and was on fire. And I think out at home, I think they're going to be too much for this Philadelphia Eagle team as well, man. But at the same time, like I keep saying, the Eagles is scrappy as hell, man. They are they've been proven to be a resilient football team, and they're like that pesky little mosquito that won't go away, man. They'll just keep buzzing in your ear, you know what I mean? And if you let them stay close, they always find a way to get back in it and maybe even steal a victory, man. But I honestly don't see that happening this week, man. I think the Raiders are just a superior football team playing far superior football overall. Other than that very bad performance against the Chicago Bears a couple weeks ago, the Raiders have been in every single game they played this season. They've been solid and they've been respectable. Like I said, they beat up on Denver last week, a very good defensive team in Denver out in Denver last week. So I can't knock this team, and I think the Eagles will keep this one close because the Eagles, like I said, that's what they do. But I still feel them coming up a little bit short in this game, and I will give the Raiders the nod, 27-24 in this one. I think the Eagles will keep it close because, like I said, they just do it. That's what they do. That's why this Eagle team is just so hard to ever predict and call, man, because it's hard. You never know what you're gonna get week to week with them, and it's just crazy. They do head scratching things, and it's just like, so it makes you wonder. And it's hard. It's always hard to pick their games because it's like you feel like this team is bad. You want to say how bad this team is, how bad they look on paper. But like I said, they got heart. They scrappy. They don't quit. So they're going to always give you 4 quarters of everything they got. But like I said, I think it's still not going to be enough against this Raider football team on Sunday, man. So I feel like they're going to go out there and they're going to fall a little bit short, man. I like the Raiders in this one, 27-24, man. And that ain't throwing no shade to the Eagles. Like I said, I respect the Eagles. I respect what they're doing this season. Like I said, because I think in the NFC East, they have, as far as if you look on paper at their rosters, at everybody's rosters, I feel like this is the least talented roster on paper. But the game ain't played on paper. The game is played on the grass field. And the Eagles, like I said, they go out there and give you 4 quarters, everything they got, man. But what they got, I feel like ain't going to be good enough against this Raider football team out in Vegas this week, man. I just don't see it happening. But I'm going to get ready to move on to the last game on the slate for the week. And, we all know what that is. That is the Carolina Panthers coming to visit The New York Football Giants. Where do I begin? Carolina is coming to town, man, off of a heartbreaking overtime loss to the Minnesota Vikings. And they've had a rough couple of weeks in general. They lost to the Eagles a couple of weeks ago. Lost to they're on a 3-game losing streak, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. Started off the season 3-0, and now they're 3-3. They've lost all their games without Christian McCaffrey in the lineup, man. And they still ain't going to have him this week either. Thank God for the Giants. But what they will have is a very impressive defense that has been impressive all season long. Other than the Cowboy, I'd say other than that Cowboy game and a few breakdowns against the Eagles, you know what I mean? This defense has been pretty impressive all season long. And they come to play football. They come to play ball. Sam Darnold is a quarterback reborn in Carolina, and he's got a special connection with DJ Moore that I don't see the New York Giants being able to stop, because the New York Giants have not been able to stop any quarterback and top wide receiver combination all season long. So I don't see why this is going to be any different. So I just don't. I mean, this is, like I said, it's painful. Every week it gets harder and harder and harder to keep having to come out here every week and be like the new and talk so negatively about the team that I love, the team that I represent. But facts are facts, and the truth is the truth, man. And I got to speak that. Like, I'm talking to my homies out there. I talk that talk, and I talk trash. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna always be a giant this and giant that. But when I'm on a platform like this, I got to keep it all the way 100, all the way real, man. And my boys suck. And until they prove otherwise, that's what it is. And with that being said, man, I like Carolina. I just can't do it. With a clear conscience, I cannot pick the New York Giants to win this football game. We're going to still probably have a ton of injuries on the offensive side of the football. Like I said, we already know 100% Andrew Thomas is not playing. We know Kadarius Toney is not playing. Right now, as things stand, it doesn't look like Barkley's going to be back this week. Doesn't look like Kenny Galladay is going to be back this week. That could change. We still got a couple more days for that to change, but I don't necessarily see that changing. Yeah, he might get Slayton back, but I just don't see it, man. I don't see, like, obviously the Panthers coming to MetLife and trashing us like this, like the Los Angeles Rams did a week ago. But I don't see us winning this football game. I see us probably dropping this one, man. Carolina 24, New York Giants 20, man. I'm not saying we're gonna get. We might show an ability to keep it kind of close and competitive this week. Won't necessarily go out there and get absolutely trashed, but I think the Carolina, I mean, they're better than us. What more? I can't say anything else. They are a better football team. Straight up. That's just the truth. Sorry, New York Giant Nation, I love y'all, but it's the truth. They're a better football team than we are. And 24-20, Carolina. I can't with a clear conscience pick us to win this football game. Do I think we can win this football game? Absolutely. Carolina, like I said, they're better than us, but they're not like the kind of better than us that I feel like we just flat out can't win. Like, I knew last week we didn't really have much of a chance of winning that football game last week. This is different. I don't think we're going to win necessarily, but I believe we could win. It wouldn't shock me. Like, it would have shocked me if we would have went out there and pulled off some major upset against the Rams a week ago. That would have shocked me. If we somehow find a way to pull together and beat the Carolina Panthers at home, it wouldn't shock me. I'd be a little surprised because just the way we've been playing all season, but it wouldn't be a total, like, stunner. And as we know, the Cowboys are going to be on a bye this week. So they do have a week off. So that gives these NFC East teams a chance to try to creep up a little bit closer to the Cowboys. But no matter what the results of any of these games are, the Cowboys will still enter next week in first place, even with the week off. So that's not going to change regardless. And before I get out of here, man, I do want to, like to say some things to some of the New York Giant faithful, man, especially some of my fellow content creators. It's been a tough season, obviously. It's been a tough few years. I mean, I'm new to this. This is my first year in doing these streams and doing the content creating thing. This is my first year in. I know a lot of you guys have been doing it for a long time. It's been rough, man. This has definitely been a rough year because expectations were so high. So many of us thought this team finally was going to turn the corner this season, and it clearly did not. And it's tough to get out here and keep making videos and doing this, but we do it because we love this, man. We love this team regardless. Even though they make us cry every damn week, they piss us off every week, we do this because we love this team, man. So I want to just shout out to Nate Talk Sports that was in the chat earlier with me, Classified with Joel in the chat. Two great content creators, man. Sub up to those guys if you haven't already. But like I know a lot of other content creators, it's been rough, man, for us to come out here and keep doing videos, making material, because this team is bad, man, and it's hard to keep making videos, having to talk about the team you love in such a negative light. With that being said, if I didn't, then that would be irresponsible of me, you know what I mean, to come out here and speak anything less than the truth. The truth is this team is an absolute dumpster fire, and if things keep trending the way they're trending right now this season, there's going to be a lot of major overhaul with this team in the offseason, and we'll just be going through this process all over again. But like I said, I'm sorry for kind of rushing through and powering through things tonight, but I'm about to get up out of here. And before I do, I want to remind everybody, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Please do your part, do whatever you can to support this very worthy cause. Like I said, we lose so many people daily to this very, very dangerous disease. And I got a link in my description, man. If you want to click on that link, no donation is too small, man. Anything you can that you can give, man, it would be much appreciated. Let's help try to find a cure for this disease. It's your boy Mac the Giants fan. Peace. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa.